I'm assuming this means that you're not opting out, but I just wanted to know what's your family situation and how much discussion was there toward weighing the negatives and the positives, and ultimately what was kind of the deciding factor for you?
Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned earlier, that I'm not gonna be opting out, but it was a long, very long and tough discussion with my wife. Right now, our current situation, she's back in Cleveland, um, with the family, with my 13-month-old son, um, as well as we're expecting our second child. So, in at the end of September. So, the discussions we've had, man, have been long and extensive. But she understands the importance of me being out here and being able to provide for the family and all those good things. And so we've had more positive talks than negative, and we've been able to communicate on a day to day basis. Just to understand each other's feelings and to make sure she's at ease, especially during a time like this with the uncertainty of COVID, as well as having the birth of our second boy. So it's been a blessing that we've both been on the same page. We've both had nights where we've cried on each other and just talked about, especially before I left. Just talking about how we're gonna manage this whole deal. And I told her flat out, "Hey, look, I don't want you guys to even come to Cali because I don't want you to be infected. I don't want my 1 year old to be infected as well. As the new addition to our family. So we were able to work it out, and I'm here. So she understands, and like I said, it's truly a blessing.
Raheem, that's got to be tough on you though, not to be with your young family, especially a new child. I mean, how are you gonna be able to sort of handle that emotionally? And another part of that question is, have you had those discussions with teammates as well? I imagine there are a lot of guys on this team with young families who don't want to expose those families to COVID.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I just got done talking to Mark as I was walking in here. He's dealing with a 1 year old as well. That's around the same age, a little bit older than my son. And we were talking about it. He was stressed out just because he knows that he's not going to be with his family the entire time. And I try to bring some ease into the light and be like, hey, look, man, you're the breadwinner on in your family, and so am I. You're not the only one in this position. But we just got to make sure that we just keep each other accountable and keep the guys in the locker room accountable, so that way we can actually go home at the end of this thing, COVID free, and be safe, and to have to make up those lost times that we've been away from our families, which is tough to think about at the moment. But in the grand scheme of things, it will all pay off, and it's gonna be a blessing, one way or the other. We gotta do our part, do our due diligence, and um, make sure that we're a okay.
Hi, Raheem. Grant Cohn, Sports Illustrated. First of all, congratulations on your raise. Second of all, was there ever a point you thought you wouldn't be able to work it out with the 49ers this offseason?
I appreciate you, Grant. Thank you so much. And then yeah, you know, it was long and difficulties, but in the end, we were able to sit down and have communication, and it's a blessing to be here. It's one of those things where I knew that it was gonna be right, regardless of how it played out, but I knew that at the end it was gonna be all right, and I was still gonna be a Niner no matter what. It's just moving pieces and trying to figure out what you got to do, not only for contract wise, but as a business, and then as family. It helps a lot when everybody's on the same page, and um, this is a family, and we all understand that. As you can see, like what we've been through these past 3-4 years with the organization, going 6-10, and then the following year 4-12. So it just tells you, and then Super Bowl run last year just tells you that this is a family based organization, and they really pride themselves. We all really pride ourselves on being family, and what family doesn't have, those problems? Like, I argue with my little brother, it's one of those things where, hey, look, I argue with him, but I also love him at the same time. That's what's going on here. So we eventually got it fixed, and like I said, it's a blessing, and I'm glad to be here.
Raheem, this is Chris Biederman with the Sacramento Bee. Just for clarity, do you have plans to go back to Cleveland when the child is born, or have you figured that out yet?
I talked with Kyle a couple days ago. Me and him had the discussion, just about what happened during the off season, but more so about my family and, being able to try to go back. And he told me, hey, man, we're always here. Whatever you need, we're going to provide that for you. And we're going to make sure that everything is in your corner. I talked with my wife about it after I broke the news that I talked to Kyle, and he was being accepting of the whole situation with our family. And she said, "Hey, look, as good as that sounds, I still don't want you to come out here if the cases are bad, even worse, because their newborns are at high risk, and you do have to quarantine." And I try to ease her mind a little bit and tell her, hey, look, I'm getting tested every day. It's not like I'm going out, doing reckless things. And I'm in the hotel where there's really nobody, in the hotel right now, because nobody's really traveling, especially the team hotel. So, and she said, it sounds all good and stuff, but we just got to make sure when the time is right. If you don't have to be here, you're gonna miss the birth. And I told her I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure you're happy at the end of the day. And if she doesn't want me to be there, that's fine. But like I said, it's all about communication, and we're definitely on the same page with everything. So.
Hey, Raheem, you mentioned doing reckless things, which now constitutes going to a place where there's a big crowd. I'm sure coaches and others have addressed it with you guys, but do you just among yourselves or the veterans to some of the younger guys, stress, what you're supposed to be doing when you're outside the facility, to keep everyone safe?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you come into this building and you go through the protocol, every morning waking up at 6:30, 7, and meetings are at 9, and you have to make time to go, get your COVID testing and check in, and get your temperature checked. It should be an eye opener in itself, just to have that feeling. So I think guys are taking it. I know at least here they're taking it way more serious than what you've read about other teams. I don't want to bring up who's gotten on the list as far as our team, but I think it was an eye opener just having like Richie and Jeff be on that list, and now they're taking it as serious as they possibly can, because they know that it can affect everyone in the building. And this is not a bubble, and that's what Kyle emphasized. COVID can come through this at any time, but we all got to do our part, and we are definitely doing that. Being 6 feet, wearing these monitors and stuff like that, when it blinks red, that you're within 6 feet of each other. So sanitize everything. Every guy takes it serious, and I don't think there's anyone that's above what we've done, because we adapt, and I know what Sherm said. Whoever adapts better is ultimately going to win that trophy, and that's the case for our team. We feel like we're adapting. We're at the top of the food chain, and we're definitely hitting those marks as far as this COVID stuff and the protocols and all the testing. So.
Raheem, you mentioned in the spring that you were kind of preparing your body for maybe a bigger workload. How much did that expectation factor into trying to get more compensation from the franchise? And what are your expectations for this year in terms of your role?
That's a great question. So back when I was talking about getting more bulky, I didn't mean as far as being 220 and having a whole lot of weight on me. It was more so, being bulky as far as my muscle, having more muscle mass, and having more endurance and all those type of things. So that way I'm able to get 20-something carries, a game, which is, not to say that it's not going to happen, but I got to prepare myself because I am the starting running back, and my confidence level is just up to the guys that consider themselves to be top backs, and so for me, I just had to make sure that I'm on a consistent basis and going out there and doing what I got to do so that way I can help the team out and even help the young guys who. Especially the guys that won't be having film because of preseason and stuff like that, and just showing them, hey, look, I was an undrafted guy, and my situation's a little bit different than yours, but take it for what it is, and at the moment, just capitalize and put good stuff on film because you never know who's really watching. It could be somebody that was, just an assistant who turns out to be an offensive coordinator 3 years down the road, and you made a good impression by speaking to him. That's what I told Savon, one of the young running backs, and he was like, yeah, man, that's totally right. You never know who's watching. You never know who's really going to have that big break, in their career, and that'll be just your opportunity to capitalize in the league and go from there. So for every rookie, I just, especially undrafted, I have a feel for them and I understand their situation. It's a little bit difficult, but at the same time, don't ever burn bridges because at the end of the day, those bridges can definitely lead you into a brighter future and success.
Hey, Raheem, it's Jennifer Lee Chan.
Hey.
Hi. Congrats, you proved your ability as a running back last season. Looking at that, what do you want to prove this season and going forward? I mean, you got the new contract. Now what do you have left to prove?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go out there and be dominant. When I step out onto that field, I want everybody to say that's a bad mofo. He's somebody that we can't take lightly. I want to put fear in other teams' eyes, and that's my mindset. Even when I'm playing gunner, I just want people to know I'm the best special teams player to ever play this game, and that's the mindset that I'm gonna have at running back. I want them to know that I'm the best running back to ever play this game, even though it doesn't show as far as like my career wise, but I don't necessarily care about that. Once I always tell myself once I get that opportunity, I'm never gonna look back, and that's what I got to hold myself up to, that type of standard, especially with the guys that are in this group. You got Tevin, Jet coming back, even Juice and the young guys and Jeff Wilson. So, I just hold myself high to a high standard, and the guys will follow. And it's going to be a great time, and I can't wait.
Hey, Raheem, it's David Lombardi. You guys have some receivers coming back or guys that you drafted who are particularly big. You think of Jalen Hurd and Jawan Jennings. I know you guys haven't done any on the field contact stuff yet, but as a running back, when you think of bodies that big blocking, especially in this scheme, I know you guys try to stretch it out to the outside a lot. How can that potentially help? Do you feel that you guys can take the next step as a running game with such big bodies blocking on the outside?
Oh yeah, it's always nice to have big bodies out there blocking for you. It's just more guys to be covered up. They can go out there and actually block linebackers more so, and get free safeties and strong safeties, and I just feel like, especially like a type of receiver like Jalen, he's going to go out there and he's going to put his all, especially what I've seen these past couple years when he's been healthy, going out there and trying to decleat somebody. That's inspiring in itself as a running back, because that he's going to do his job to the best of his ability, and he's going to put his body out there on the line. Why not do the same as a runner? So I mean, it's nice to see those guys out there and coming back, especially Jalen, because he is a bigger receiver and he's more physical. He's one of probably the most physical receiver I've seen, tape wise, and even going out there and practicing. So it's nice to see him back.
Hey, Raheem.
What's going on?
Not much. This is essentially like the first time since February that the entire team has been physically together. What's been the mood of this team? What's the vibe returning to the facility, especially considering how things left off last season?
Yeah, I mean, these past couple months, man, just being by myself, quarantine and not being around the guys and FaceTiming and video chats like what we're doing now, it does take a little bit of a toll, mentally. But being back with the guys definitely brings that type of energy that you left off from last year. I think I know all the guys in this building. We have some unfinished business. We've seen all the different sayings and stuff like that of how a team doesn't make it back to the Super Bowl the following year. We don't care nothing about that. And just like I think George emphasized it in the Super Bowl, he will be back. I think that was everyone's mentality. I feel like we're going to be back this year, and we're actually going to win it. That's our goal. That's our mindset. We don't care what happened in the past. The past is the past, and we're going to move on, and we're going to dominate this game the way we know how to. So the energy right now is just crazy, especially during these walkthroughs. Guys are really amped up. It's more so of a run through / a little miniature practice. I know I'm not allowed to say that, but it's so awesome, man. The energy is just unbelievable, and we love each other, and this is a family and a brotherhood, and we'll fight for it. So we're definitely feeling like, hey, look, we're back in our Super Bowl form. We got some unfinished business, and we're ready to take care of business.
Hey, Raheem, earlier you said that you're the starting running back, but even though you led the team in rushing last year, you've never started a game. So how important is that for you to be the starting guy, or does it make any difference to you?
Truthfully, it doesn't necessarily make any difference. I've got to have that mindset that I am the starter. But when it comes down to it, we have 5-6 different starters in our room. Tevin, he started games. Jet, he started games, and Juice even started games as a running back if he has. But I mean, we're all starters. Hefe, Jeff Wilson, he's a starter, and so Bobby T emphasizes that yesterday with us in meetings. She said, hey, look, I have 4, 5, 6 starters in this room who can start at any moment. So once your number gets called, like he says, your number gets called, you got to go out there and ball, and you got to pick up the phone. So that's our mindset. And like you said, I do feel I'm the starter. And like I said, we all got starters, though. It's not no dig to anyone in the room. It's just we're all brothers, and that's our approach.
Raheem, you might have 2 new blockers in front of you along the offensive line. Just wondering what your early impressions have been of Trent Williams and Tom Compton so far. Man,
honestly, those 2 guys right there, it's nice because they're savvy vets. They've been in the game for some time, and especially Trent, just seeing how big and massive he is and how he's able to move, is definitely inspiring. And then you got Tom, who's more of that quicker guy, but he still can get his blocks and do his thing. So it's nice to have those 2 guys in this offense. We'll see what they can do when the pads come on, but I have a strong belief that they're going to hold their weight and do what they got to do, because like I said, they're savvy vets and they've been in this game for some time, and they understand the scheme, and they've been a part of everything that that we've been able to do. So it's going to be nice having them back, or having them in the offense and getting ready to go.
Hey, Raheem, a couple of weeks before you got your raise, you said you sat down with someone in the front office and hashed everything out. Could you tell us who you met with?
Yeah, I mean, I talked with John, of course, and Kyle and stuff, and especially Kyle. He wanted to see where our mind was at. He wanted to talk to me, so we were able to. We didn't necessarily talk the numbers and stuff. We just talked about life and what's been going on with each other. I know at the time when I had spoke with him, he had just lost his grandparents, and so he was in Denver, and I reached out to him and told him, hey, look, man, my condolences and stuff. So, football wise, I left that to the side because we know, like I mentioned earlier, we understand what family means, and and we're all family. And like I said, he's my good friend, and so is John and everybody else. So it was good to talk to them and be able to not necessarily talk about the business aspect, but to see where each other's heads are, and to see where family matter is, because that's the ultimate thing right now for each other, especially in the time of the pandemic, is all about family and who's closest to you. So